Welcome to DeepTalk channel.
Great to be here.
Today, we're embarking on a really fascinating deep dive. We're looking into a text that quite boldly claims it can transform your financial future.
That's right.
We're talking about Wallace D. Wattles' classic, The Science of Getting Rich.
A title that definitely grabs your attention.
It really does. Now, this isn't just, another self-help book about budgeting or investing tips.
Not at all.
Wattles makes a truly radical assertion that getting rich is an exact science, like as predictable as any natural law governed by precise principles.
Almost like physics or chemistry, he implies.
Exactly. So our mission today is to kind of peel back the layers of this surprising approach, giving you a comprehensive shortcut to understanding its core ideas.
Yeah, boil it down.
You're definitely going to leave here with a completely fresh perspective on wealth, one that really challenges a lot of conventional wisdom.
Indeed. And it's interesting, this book was published way back in 1910.
Wow, that long ago.
Yeah, and it was largely overlooked for decades until, well, fairly recently it got rediscovered.
Huh.
And it isn't presented as some, philosophical theory to just ponder. It's meant as a straightforward, practical manual.
Like a how-to guide.
Precisely. Wattles firmly believed that if you actually apply the principles within its pages, you will get rich. He uses language like mathematical certainty.
Mathematical certainty, that's a strong claim.
It is. His explicit focus was on providing tangible results for those whose most immediate need is, well, for money.
Okay.
For listeners who are ready to accept scientific conclusions as he saw them as a basis for direct action without getting bogged down in really intricate metaphysics, he basically just says, here's how it works, do this.
Okay, let's unpack this first assertion then, which is maybe the most provocative one right out of the gate. Wattles argues that to live a truly complete, successful, or, fulfilling life, one must be rich.
Right. That can definitely rub some people the wrong way initially.
Yeah, it might sound jarring, maybe even counterintuitive, especially if we're conditioned to think wealth is somehow inherently tied to greed. So what's behind this idea? Why does he say it's not only okay to desire wealth, but it's actually your right?
Well, Wattles connects wealth directly to personal development, to the full expression of life, really.
How so?
He states that for a person to truly unfold their soul, mind, and body, to become all they are capable of becoming, they need many things to use.
Okay, resources.
Exactly. And in our modern society, money is, quite simply, the means to acquire those things. Tools, experiences, education, travel.
All the things that allow for growth.
Right. And he goes further. He asserts that the very purpose of nature itself, the universe, is the advancement and unfoldment of life.
So life wants to expand.
That's his view. Therefore, for a man or woman to limit their own growth, to be content with less than they are capable of becoming, well, he controversially calls that sinful.
Sinful. Wow. Okay.
It's a strong language. But his point is less about accumulating piles of gold and more about enabling yourself to fully experience, learn, contribute, and express your innate possibilities.
So it's about having the resources to fulfill your highest potential. Not greed, but growth.
Precisely. It's a reframing.
That is a radical reframing, suggesting that limiting your own growth due to lack of resources is a disservice. Not just to yourself, but maybe to life's inherent drive for more.
That's the essence of it.
And then Wattles insists that getting rich is this exact science, not luck, not environment, not even unique talent. This just flies in the face of so many assumptions.
It really does.
So what's the secret then? What is this certain way of doing things that he claims leads to wealth infallibly?
Okay, so the core idea is that results aren't random. They come from doing things in a certain way.
A specific method.
Yes. And Wattles really goes out of his way to debunk common assumptions, things we often just accept. Well, he argues it's not about where you live. He points out, rich and poor people live side by side, even in the same neighborhoods or cities. So location isn't the deciding factor.
Okay. Makes sense.
It's also not about how much talent you have. He explicitly notes that, and this is a quote, blockheads get rich just as easily as intellectually brilliant people.
Huh. Okay, so IQ isn't the key.
Apparently not, according to him. Nor is it about saving money, because many frugal people remain poor, while some seemingly extravagant individuals become wealthy.
Right. We've all seen examples of that.
And crucially, it's not about doing things others fail to do. He observes that two individuals in the exact same business, maybe doing very similar things on the surface, can have wildly different financial outcomes.
So it's not just hard work or a unique business idea either.
Not solely, no. His conclusion from all these observations is quite profound. It's not the external factors, but an internal specific method, this certain way, that consistently produces wealth.
Okay, the certain way. This leads us to where it gets really interesting and maybe a bit abstract for some listeners.
This is foundational.
Wattles introduces a concept he calls the formless substance, or thinking stuff. This is presented as the foundation of, well, everything.
Pretty much, yeah.
Can you explain what this original substance is and why it's so absolutely central to his science of getting rich?
Sure. So he posits that all things, literally everything from the smallest atom to the largest galaxy, are made from one single original substance.
One source material for the universe.
Exactly. And it permeates everything. But here's the key. This isn't passive, inert matter. It's explicitly described as thinking stuff.
Thinking stuff.
Yeah, alive with creative energy and inherently impelled towards more life and fuller functioning.
So it's intelligent and wants to create.
That's the idea. Think of it as the universe's foundational creative intelligence, a kind of universal mind that's always pushing towards growth and expansion. And what this means, according to Wattles, is that nature, the universe, is fundamentally friendly to your plans for increase, for getting richer.
Because it also wants more life.
Precisely. And there's absolutely no limit to its supply. Wattles even gives the example that if all the gold were dug from the earth, more could simply be produced from this formless substance if needed.
Wow. So scarcity is just an illusion.
In this framework, yes. It's crucial to understand there is no scarcity, only abundance, because this substance is constantly creating. This concept directly challenges the scarcity mindset that's so prevalent in our economic thinking.
It suggests abundance isn't just a nice philosophical idea, but a fundamental property of reality itself.
That's exactly his claim.
Okay, so if this thinking substance is the source, and it's inherently abundant and predisposed to more life, how do we as individuals tap into it? How do we use it to create wealth? Wattles says thought is the only power which can produce tangible riches from the formless substance. That's a massive claim.
It is. It's the core mechanism.
So what's the first principle of this thought process? How does thought actually do this?
Okay, the first principle is that a thought imaged in this substance literally produces the corresponding form.
So the image in your mind takes shape in reality.
Essentially, yes. Wattles lays out three fundamental propositions to really grasp this. First, there's one original thinking substance from which all things are made. We've covered that.
Right, the thinking stuff.
Second, a specific thought held clearly in this substance produces the precise thing imaged within that thought.
Precision matters.
Very much so. And third, humanity, through our own minds, can form things in our thoughts, and by impressing these clear mental images upon this formless substance, we can cause their creation.
We impress our thoughts onto it.
Yes. He points out that the universe itself was created precisely this way, by the thought of the formless stuff. It's not just metaphorical thinking for him. Wattles treats thought as a direct creative force, like an engineer drafting a blueprint.
That's a really powerful idea to wrap your head around. But thinking alone isn't enough, right? You mentioned it needs more.
Correct. Thinking is the starting point, the blueprint. But Wattles emphasizes it requires invincible and unwavering faith and a fixed purpose.
Faith and purpose.
And he also says it's the hardest work in the world, which seems counterintuitive as just thinking.
Yeah, why is it so difficult to think in this certain way? And how do we acquire what he calls this mastermind power?
Well, it's incredibly difficult because it demands thinking truth, regardless of appearances.
Thinking truth regardless of what you see around you.
Exactly. Our minds are naturally conditioned, maybe evolved, to focus on what we see, what our senses report, poverty, disease, lack, limitation.
The current reality.
Yes. So to hold a clear mental image of wealth while you're currently experiencing poverty, or an image of perfect health amidst illness, that requires significant mental power and discipline.
Okay, that makes sense why it's hard.
And this power, this mastermind, isn't some mystical thing necessarily. It's gained by consistently grasping the basic fact of the one thinking substance, understanding the creative power of your own thought, and then applying it relentlessly without wavering.
So mastermind is like achieving peak mental focus and direction.
That's a good way to put it. Mastering the principles of creative thought, holding the vision independent of external circumstances. And he warns very strongly that doubt or unbelief are just as powerful as faith, but in the opposite direction.
How so?
They actively create a negative impression in the formless substance. They literally cause things to move away from you.
So doubt pushes away what you want.
That's his assertion. This is why faith is absolutely paramount. It's that unwavering conviction that your thought will manifest despite current circumstances, despite how things might appear on the surface right now.
Faith as the engine, purpose as the direction.
And thought as the blueprint.
Got it. And building on that foundation, there's another crucial element Wattles introduces: gratitude.
Yes, gratitude is huge in a system.
How does gratitude play into this science? Why is it so vital for attracting wealth? It seems different from just thinking in faith.
Gratitude is absolutely key to establishing what he calls a harmonious relation with the formless intelligence, the thinking stuff.
Harmonious relation, like getting on the same wavelength.
Kind of, yeah. He describes it almost like a law, the law of gratitude, where thankful praise to the supreme, to this substance, is an expenditure of force, a type of energy that creates an instantaneous movement towards you.
So gratitude actively pulls things towards you.
That's the mechanism he proposes. It's an energetic exchange. He points to figures like Jesus, noting their consistent gratitude, and states explicitly, you cannot exercise much power without gratitude, for it is gratitude that keeps you connected with power.
Connected with the source.
Exactly. And beyond just attracting more, gratitude serves another vital function. It actively prevents dwelling on dissatisfaction or what you lack.
Which would create negative impressions.
Precisely. Focusing on lack leads to more inferiority and scarcity thinking. A grateful mind, by contrast, is constantly fixed on the best aspects of life, on the good already received and anticipated. And therefore, by this energetic alignment, it receives the best.
So gratitude unifies your mind with the creative intelligence itself. It opens the channel for abundance.
Beautifully put, yeah.
This is all pretty profound, and it certainly challenges a lot of conventional thinking about how the world works.
It definitely does. It requires a shift in perspective.
Okay, but how do these more abstract ideas translate into practical daily actions? What do you actually do?
Right, the practical application.
Wattles has a very strong stance against competition. He says, flat out, you are to create, not to compete for what is already created.
This is a big one.
That feels almost revolutionary in a capitalist society built on competition. What does this actually mean for how we conduct our lives and our businesses day to day?
It means completely abandoning the mindset of limited supply. The idea that there's only so much to go around and you have to fight for your piece.
The zero-sum game idea.
Exactly. You don't have to take from others. You don't need to drive sharp bargains where you win and someone else loses.
Okay, so what's the alternative?
The core principle is to always give more in use value than you receive in cash value for whatever product or service you offer.
More use value than cash value. Can you give an example?
Sure. He uses a slightly dated but clear example. If you sell a fancy artistic picture to an Eskimo and it has no practical use for him in his environment, it might be a technically fair cash exchange. But it's a wrong transaction in this framework because it doesn't add value to his life.
Okay.
But if you sell him a gun, which helps him hunt more efficiently, get more furs and food, that is a good bargain, even if he pays a good price. Because the use value he receives significantly increases his life, gives him increase.
I see. It's about genuinely improving the other person's situation.
Yes. Your aim should be to add to the life of the world with every single transaction, large or small, ensuring that when you get what you want, every other man will have more than he has now.
So it's not win-lose, it's win-win. Or even win-win plus.
Exactly. It fundamentally shifts your approach from a scarcity model grabbing a slice of the pie to one of abundant co-creative expansion, making the whole pie bigger for everyone.
It's about contribution, not capture.
Well said. Yes.
This brings us to another critical point. The combination of thought and action. You can't just think rich thoughts.
Absolutely not.
Wattles says, by thought, the thing you want is brought to you. By action, you receive it. It's definitely not passive manifestation, like just sitting around visualizing.
You know, action is essential. It's the receiving mechanism.
So what kind of action is required? Is it about finding the perfect business or waiting for the right opportunity?
No, that's a common trap he warns against. The action must be now.
Now?
Yes. In your present business or employment, whatever it is, and focused upon the people and things in your present environment.
So you don't wait for the right situation.
You don't wait for the right business or the right environment. You create it by acting correctly in this certain way, right where you are.
How? What does acting correctly mean?
Every day, he says, you must do all that can be done that day. No procrastination.
Okay, diligence.
And crucially, do each act in an efficient manner. This doesn't just mean quickly. It means putting the whole power of your faith and purpose into it.
So it's about the quality and the intention behind your current efforts, not just the sheer quantity of work.
Exactly. For instance, if you're in sales, it means every client call isn't just a call. It's infused with your certainty of increase, your belief in the value you offer. Every follow-up email is precise and purposeful, executed with excellence.
Or if you're a freelancer.
You deliver exceptional value on every single project, treating each task, even if it seems small, as a vital step towards your larger vision. You pour your full power into that act. This creates a powerful momentum.
Acting efficiently now. Okay. And another concept related to action is the impression of increase. He says this is key.
Yes, very important.
What is this impression and why is it so important to convey it to everyone you meet? How does that actually work in practice?
Well, Wattles argues that all human activity, deep down, is driven by the desire for increase. We all want more life, more knowledge, more beauty, more of everything good. It's a fundamental urge.
Okay, the drive for more.
So when you yourself are operating in this way of increase, meaning you're genuinely moving towards greater abundance, and you convey this certainty through your faith, your positive tone, your demeanor, your actions, others will literally feel this sense of advancement when they are in your presence.
They kick up on your energy.
You could say that.
Mm-hmm.
People are naturally attracted to those who seem to be on the up, those who give them more means of life, more possibilities. And this applies to every single interaction, not just formal business transactions.
Give an example.
If you're a coach, it's about radiating the confidence that your client will achieve growth through working with you. If you're a colleague, it's about bringing a positive, can-do attitude that inspires confidence and makes projects seem more possible.
Even just socially.
Even in social settings, your presence can communicate positive momentum and opportunity. People feel uplifted, more capable, more hopeful when they interact with you because you carry that impression of increase. You become, as he puts it, a creative center from which increase radiates outwards.
So you're essentially signaling growth happens around me.
That's a great way to summarize it, yes.
Now, you mentioned avoiding competition earlier, but Wattles also includes a really strong caution against seeking power over other men.
He contrasts it sharply with creation.
Why is this specifically a danger, especially when pursuing wealth? For so many people, power is a form of wealth, or at least closely linked to it.
Right. But the desire to rule, to dominate or gain power over others for purely selfish gratification is what Wattles identifies as the competitive mind. It's rooted in that same scarcity, zero-sum thinking.
Trying to control the pieces on the board.
Exactly. And he contrasts this directly with the creative mind, which seeks to make new things, not just control existing ones. Seeking mastery over others, he warns, inevitably leads to being conquered by fate and environment.
How so?
Because you're constantly fighting against external forces and the wills of others, making wealth a matter of chance, speculation, and conflict, rather than a scientific certainty based on universal laws.
It puts you in conflict with the world.
Yes. Wattles champions the principle, what I want for myself, I want for everybody. This highlights that true, permanent riches come from creating, from contributing to the advancement of all life, not from taking or dominating. The competitive approach, seeking power over others, will ultimately prevent you from achieving genuine, lasting wealth because it's fundamentally out of harmony with the abundant, creative nature of the formless substance.
It's based on scarcity and not abundance.
Precisely.
Okay, so to maintain this certain way, especially amidst daily challenges, all the negativity we can encounter, Wattles offers some direct advice about managing your thoughts and external influences.
Yes, mental discipline is crucial.
He warns against studying poverty or dwelling on past hardships. What's the practical strategy here for our listeners? How do you avoid getting dragged down?
You have to diligently guard your thoughts and actively command your attention.
Command your attention. That sounds effortful.
It is. He says you absolutely should not focus on lack, disease, or the problems of the world in a way that makes you feel helpless or negative, because doing so will impress those very forms of limitation on the thinking substance, effectively attracting them to you.
So focusing on problems attracts more problems.
That's the idea. Instead, you must resolutely put poverty behind you, mentally and emotionally and actively make good yourself. Become a living example of these principles working.
Be the change, essentially.
In a way, yes. Be the proof. He advises against reading pessimistic literature, getting drawn into arguments about society's ills, or even studying conflicting systems of thought that might introduce doubt or dilute your focus.
So stay focused on this one path.
The path he outlines is quite narrow and requires singular focus. He literally says, read this book every day. Keep it with you. Commit it to memory. Any doubt or conflicting thought, even a small one, can potentially derail your progress because it sends mixed signals to the creative substance.
Wow, that sounds like a really radical commitment to one particular mindset, almost isolating.
It is a very focused approach, yes. It demands mental discipline.
But what about those inevitable moments, where you've put in the work, you've held the vision, you've acted efficiently, but things just don't pan out as expected? A deal falls through, a plan goes awry. Wattles specifically mentions seeming failure.
This is key for persistence.
How should someone react in those moments? It's natural to feel disappointment.
He states, quite unequivocally, never allow yourself to feel disappointed.
Never. That seems impossible.
There's a high bar, but he explains why. He says that if you don't receive something at a specific time you expected, and you hold steadfastly to your faith and purpose, you will inevitably find that the failure is only apparent.
Only apparent, meaning?
It wasn't a real failure in the grand scheme. He gives an anecdote, I think, of a student whose initial business deal failed, which felt devastating at the time. But shortly after, a much greater, more aligned opportunity appeared that wouldn't have been possible if the first deal had gone through.
So a redirection.
Exactly. Wattles attributes this to a mind which knew more than he knew, suggesting that a higher intelligence, or the universe itself, sometimes prevents a lesser good to bring about a greater one down the line.
If you stay the course.
If you stay the course. The key is to keep faith, purpose, and gratitude absolutely fixed, unwavering, and to continue acting efficiently every single day, regardless of the apparent setback. He even assures that if you go on as I have directed, you will develop all the talent that is necessary, implying that skills and opportunities will actually unfold as you remain aligned with this certain way.
That's a powerful framework for persistence, seeing setbacks as potential course corrections.
It really is.
Okay, so let's try to summarize then. What are the absolute essentials of the science of getting rich that Wattles really distills for us, if you had to put it in a nutshell?
Okay, let's see. It really comes down to this.
Yeah.
First, accept that there is a thinking substance, a formless stuff from which all things are made.
The foundation.
Second, understand that your clear, definite thought, impressed upon this substance with unwavering purpose and faith, is the actual catalyst for creation. It causes the thing you think about to be created.
Thought is creative power.
Third, to put this into action, you must consciously shift from a competitive mindset to a creative one. Think creation, not competition.
Abundance, not scarcity.
Right. Fourth, maintain deep, continuous gratitude for what you have now and for what is coming. Gratitude connects you to the source.
Keep that connection strong.
Fifth, you must form a precise mental image of what you want and hold it steadfastly, while being thankful as if it's already physically yours.
Vision plus faith plus gratitude.
And crucially, sixth, you must act, now debut. Act efficiently in your present environment, doing all you can do each day with your full power.
Action is the receiver.
And as part of that action, always aim to give more in use value than you receive in cash value, communicating that impression of increase to everyone you meet.
Contribute more value.
Yes. And finally, remember, the riches you receive will be in direct proportion to the definiteness of your vision, the fixity of your purpose, the steadiness of your faith, and the depth of your gratitude. It's a truly holistic approach, integrating mind, feeling, and action.
Wow. Okay. That's quite a formula.
It is. A science, as he called it.
This deep dive really challenges us, doesn't it? To reconsider our relationship with wealth, maybe the very fabric of reality, and certainly our own innate creative power.
It absolutely does.
It's a profound call to action, really, rooted in the power of our own minds and intentions.
And Wattles himself makes this truly bold claim, one that's kind of resonated through the decades since 1910. He essentially says, look, if every man who does what it tells him to do gets rich, that is positive proof.
Proof of science.
Until someone goes through the process and fails. He puts the burden of proof on finding a failure, assuming you follow the steps exactly.
Which leaves us, and you listening, with a truly provocative question, doesn't it?
It really does.
Are you willing to take this science on faith, at least provisionally, and put its principles to the ultimate test, the test of your own experience?
A challenging thought to end on.
Something to truly mull over. Until next time on Deep Talk, keep exploring, keep thinking, and keep digging deep.